I've got a couple of things here. Let's turn this oscilloscope off. So I have a Raspberry Pi Pico W. So this is the one that has wireless in it. And then I have one of the breakout boards for it. Now this breakout board, it came requiring assembly. So I'm going to put it together. Now something else it came with is it also came with some header pins for the Raspberry Pi Pico. So if your Pico does not have them, then that's fine. You can go ahead and get them attached with the ones that are included. If your Pico does already have them, then these are just some extra pins. I haven't soldered in a while, so hopefully I won't do too bad of a job at this. But okay, let me go ahead and get this soldered. See, soldering iron is turned off. I'm gonna turn it on, let it get warmed up, and then we'll continue this video. Okay, my soldering iron is blinking to let me know that it is warmed up. And let's see how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna start by doing the corners. Because if I get the corners secure, then everything else is downhill from there. Okay, there's one corner. Let's do the other side. And it's a little bit more solder. And I know I'm probably doing a bad job of this. In the comment section, I have full confidence will let me know. Let's get this other corner. And it's actually kind of challenging doing this now. Is I actually have a camera that's between me and what I'm doing. I should have actually put this camera off at an angle, but hey, it is what it is now. Is that on there? I think it is. Let's see, can I remove these? Nope. Okay, so they're in place good enough. Now I'm gonna go down the line and get solder added to each one of these, and then we'll actually get to the breakout board. Okay, I've soldered one end of this. Solder bridges could be better. They could also be worse. I think they're in the area that we are going to call good enough. So now I'm going to go down the line and get the other row of these soldered together, and let's see how that comes out. And this is what I ended up with. Could be better, could be worse, but like I said, good enough. So let me set this aside, and now let's get into putting this together. So the components that we have, there is the header on which the Raspberry Pi itself is going to be attached. So I'm pretty sure that goes there. Let me make sure this lines up, and it does. And then we have these other block headers. Which side of this is out? Okay, I see. So these block headers are going to be going on the outside. Now, are these the same height? No, they're not. It looks like the part that the Pi goes in is actually slightly taller than these other block headers. So I'm going to take these out. We'll solder those second. Just go ahead and get these all in place. And the reason I'm doing these first is since these are shorter, I'm putting these in and I'm going to turn it upside down. If I did the other ones first, when I turn it upside down, then it would no longer be able to rest on top of these, and I'd end up soldering them in place without them being all the way down in the circuit board. Dang it, and one fell out. Let's try that again. Okay, hold it in place, get it turned upside down. And so there we go. Now I need to pretty much do the same thing that I was doing with the Raspberry Pi. I know it's a Pi Pico, but I can't help but calling it the Pi. So I'm going to start off doing something that looks similar to what I did before with soldering the corners first. But also remember that these block headers, this is not continuous. It's actually two on each side. And I can't quite remember whether a middle is. Had I been thinking I would have gotten a pencil or marker or something and marked it. But let's start off by doing the corners. and doing the corners, I at least don't have to worry about this falling out because a single solder should be enough to hold it in place for now. Okay, there we go. Nice thing about soldering this is there's no active components on this. So I'm not too worried about overheating something and damaging it. I do have the soldering iron just turned up to what I think to be minimally sufficient heat. Okay, here we go. So I think I have the soldering iron just turned up to minimally sufficient heat in order to get this melted. Okay, I found where the middle is. So if I do these two, then now on that side, the block headers are both held in their respective places on both ends. And same thing over here. Hopefully I actually do have this lined up correctly. Not that the consequences will be great if I don't. Okay, I think that's lined up. So now I'm gonna go down each one of these rows and get these soldered in place. Well, I have the block headers put in place. I am almost done with this. The last thing to do is to get this other header put in place. Let's get both of them seated. Okay, turn this over. And I see I've made a mistake here. Okay, not a big deal. I know how I can fix this. No, I didn't make a mistake. For a second, I thought that these black ones were actually shorter than the green ones, but it looks like they're actually the same height. So, okay, no mistake. Let's continue. At this point, you know the drill. So I'm going to start off by just making sure that I get the pieces on the end. I'm going to start on this corner. Okay. And I'm going to go to the opposite corner. And now that each one of them has at least one piece anchored with solder, then at this point, it should not fall out if I pick it up. I'm just inspecting it to make sure that these are fairly upright, and they are. So now let's go to doing the opposite corners. And one more here. Now I get to go down the line and fill in the rest of these. Well, I'm done soldering. Yeah, I need to work on my soldering. This could be a lot neater. But I still think it's reached the level of being good enough. So let's see, which end is which here? I believe that's supposed to be an outline of the USB header. So lining this up, putting it in place. And now I've got my Pi on a breakout board. So this is relatively inexpensive. For a little bit more, you can get one that is fully assembled and is coming with status lights and yeah, this has status lights and GPIO lights so they can see what is going on here. But of course, to get this, it costs more. If you need to get several headers, then this might be preferred because it does not cost as much. Although, as you can see, some assemblies required. And now that I'm looking at this magnified on the camera, I think I'm gonna go back and clean up some of these solder spots that I made.